You're about to listen to Whiskey Hell Podcast, a show centered on recent news, excellent craft beer, and absolute debauchery. While the guys are getting ready, you can reach them on Twitter at whiskey_hell. You can also go to the whiskeyhellpod.com or email them at whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com. At the end, be sure to drop them a review as a thank you for the content. Looks like they're ready. Enjoy the show, and listener discretion is advised.
Saturday night, 9:41. I'm calling in from the future. I'm Steve McShane, and this is your weekly rundown of what's been going on in the news. Fitz, how you doing, man?
I'm all right. You definitely are calling from the future because it's only 20 to 7 here. So, yeah, you're on the other side of the world, man.
I feel like I am. It's a completely different world from the old Arizona mainstream. It's been a hell of a week. Started off in Chicago, in Arizona, went to Chicago, and we're ending it in Boston. I was even in New Hampshire for a spell today. So it's been it's been a long week. I'm telling you that.
Yeah, that's a long run to be away from home. I mean, I love traveling. We've talked about it on the show. We both love traveling, but you start getting to that 7 to 10 day stretch, and you're like, man, I just want to be home.
Yeah. That's exactly where I am. The back's not feeling too good. The hotel bed's terrible, and I think we stayed in some pretty nice places. But it's starting to get old. It's time for some home cooking and just trying to relax. It's a whole different kind of relaxation that's needed when you're on a trip like this.
Agreed.
So,
Agreed.
Long week. Fun week. Definitely got some stories. Chicago was amazing. I got to tell you that right off the bat. The vibe, the energy. Unless you're totally up for it and ready for it, you're not. You're going to be hit between the eyes. And
it'll steamroll you. That's a true big city, and it'll steamroll you if you're not ready for it.
But you know what's so cool about these two cities? It's the walking distance. You can walk everywhere.
Yep.
We're staying in Boston in Faneuil Hall, which is right at the start of the Freedom Trail, right out of Quincy Market. So you guys can look it up. You guys know exactly where I am. But you can walk from here to Chinatown, to the financial district, to the north end, the Italian district. You can get to South Boston in like 2 minutes. You're on the wharf in about 5. I've got the Haymarket right over one road. It's just ridiculous, everything that you can get to. The big cities, they're just different, man. I mean, I'm not used to it. I'm just not used to it, but I totally dig it.
Yep. No, I mean, I was in another big city last weekend in San Francisco, and same thing. You know, you jump on the BART to get from the airport, into town. But we walked everywhere. I mean, and then you take an Uber to get to downtown to go to some bars. But then it's like the literal definition of bar hopping. You go to a bar and then you just walk to the next one. Then you walk to the next one. It's just, I love that. And, you're getting your exercise in and you can drink more,
Yeah. That's going to be a theme. And I think I may change my cool shit to just talking about that because I saw what yours is. Yeah. And I think we can compare some notes here. I think we both have some unique experiences from both of our trips, so we can share. Cool. That'll probably really blow the doors off. I think it'll be a lot of fun at the end of the show.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's really cool. One of the things I really like about some other podcasts that I listen to, and I'll just use Joe Rogan as an example because everybody knows who he is. But when he's talking about his adventures, like, oh yeah, I was in Vegas for the UFC fight, and then I came home in Austin for 2 days, and then I was in New York and I was doing this thing, and I love hearing all of that because I don't get to go to all those places. And so you kind of get to, hear about it vicariously through somebody else. And yeah, it's not the same as being there, but at least you can picture what's going on and get a vibe for the city. And I don't know, I love that part of podcasting. I really do.
No, it totally is, and like you're saying. I mean, that's where the storytelling comes in, right?
Yeah.
And being able to talk about something that is personal, it's unique, it's through somebody else's perspective, and really discussing your experience. Because if somebody else stayed where either I were, they're going to have a totally different experience because of what they want to do, the mood that they're in. Because the mood you're in is totally that's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
be huge. Hell, during the week I ended up at a symphony. Okay, the Chicago Symphony on a whim. It was not even a quarter mile from my hotel. We're staying at the Hilton Chicago, and I got tickets for $10, 6 rows off, middle of the row.
Wow.
So I was dead center, and I haven't gone to the symphony. Hell, I mean, since before my dad passed away, probably. I mean, it's been years.
Wow. Yeah.
So anyway, we'll get into more of that stuff later. I definitely have a bar to bring up that I want to talk about.
Yeah, I think we both had some unique experiences at bars that are worth sharing. So, wow, look at us getting all deep at the beginning of the show here.
We are. Well, that's what we're a deep show. We run deep. We're balls deep.
We are always balls deep. That's true.
All right. What beer are you drinking, Fitz?
Holy shit, dude! I haven't even opened my beer. We got so busy talking.
Well, we got to get into that.
Okay, yeah. All right, hold on. Let me crack this open. Oh yeah.
Oh, that sounded
God
good.
damn. Oh yeah. So I am finally cracking open my 2021 Bourbon County. They put the date on here, so let's see. They casked this, holy crap, March of 2021. So it's it's a year and a half old.
Okay.
At least. So this thing's been sitting in my fridge the entire time, just soaking itself up in its own glorious juices. I'm pouring it out here. I want a little bit of a head on it. Everyone likes a little bit of head, right?
Oh yeah, just no teeth.
You want to open it up. Remember when we used to it used to be an art to try and pour our beers with zero head, and then we found out actually you want to release some of the flavors in there, so you want a little bit of head. Nobody likes the 4-inch head, but all right. So first taste of this beer. Let's see. Ooh. Oh, wow. All right. So definitely what hits me up front is the prune flavoring. This one's meaty. This has got a meatiness to it.
Now this is the Imperial Stout, right?
Correct. The Imperial Stout. Yep.
Okay.
Stout aged in bourbon barrels. Yeah, really meaty. A lot of the earth tones are coming out in this. A lot of the oak from the barrel. A lot of bourbon. Heavy on the bourbon. In fact, this one, we were both talking before the show started. We kind of both were kind of coming down. You're coming down with something, and I'm coming off of something. This one, I want to inhale it and get it back in the back of my sinuses up in there, because this will purify you. This is like holy water. Wow.
Oh, that's nice. So is it still pretty hot? Because I know now this is the second time that you've had this one. You had this one at the beginning. Oh hell, it was what, February of last year?
Yeah,
something
or
like that?
this year, you mean?
It might have been.
Because I've had,
it might have been this year.
I've had
Okay.
2 bourbon counties. So I had one, last year, and then one early this year.
Okay.
So I think the difference here is it's definitely still hot. It's mellowed out a bit, but it's definitely still pretty hot. But just those really low, I don't know how else to describe it. Those low earth tones are really coming through, as opposed to the really high notes that you get, in some of those bourbon barrel aged stuff, where all you get's the bourbon. This is more of the stoutiness.
Nice. So it's mellowed out a little bit then.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
Awesome. So
Yep.
that's a 14.4 beer.
It is.
Barrel aged for 18 to 14 months, and then you went ahead and didn't touch it for a year. So that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
I was, you know what? It was. So I'm reaching in the fridge. So I have a beer fridge out in the garage, right? And I just stored it out there. It helps me not think about it. It's out there. You just save it for a good show. So I made the decision. I'm like, fuck it. We're going to do it tonight. McShane's traveling. Let's make this a special show. So I reached back there, and it's all the way in the back. And it flashed through my mind that I was going to break the bottle when I pulled it out of the fridge.
No.
I was like, do not drop this fucker. So I held onto it with both hands like it was a baby. And it made it to my mouth safely. So everybody can rest easy.
Then we're all good then.
Yep. How about you? What are you drinking?
Okay, so a little bit of a story behind this beer. We went to a place called Tuckaway Tavern today. It's in Raymond, New Hampshire. I highly suggest going there. Ask for the waitress named Kathleen. Big shout out to Kathleen because she hooked me up huge today. So I had actually been to this establishment probably about 8-9 years ago, probably. Now, at the time, they had on their list of beers a cellar. So they had all of the beers that they would normally sell. And then they had like the private reserve. Now, these were all beers that were quite old. They were the chef's reserve. And he had stuff that was years old. Okay, I think I had a bottle at that point in time, which was probably I didn't want to spend a ton, but it was like 20. I probably spent $20-25 on a bottle that was like 2 years cellared. I don't remember what it was. So anyway, I walked in and I said, I last time I was here, there was a cellar that you could get beers from. I was wondering if you guys still had that. And she's like, oh, stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay, I've been here before. I was here a long time ago. But the stuff wasn't on this year's menu. So you don't see any of that stuff. Well, I asked, and she's like, oh, okay, well, what are you looking for? I'm like, anything dark, and, I could say anything, and I guess she probably would have been able to go down and pull something out, but I'm more interested. I wanted to see what she was going to bring up. Well, the first beer that she brought up was... And I know I'm taking a long time for this story, but here's where our two beers intersect. The first beer that she brought up for me was a Goose Island, Bourbon County brand Bramble Rye Stout. Now, Fitz, it was from... Let me see here.
Yeah, you sent me a picture of that. Or you sent me and Hefe a picture of that.
Yeah, okay, so that one was actually from 2023.
Okay.
But the beer that she ended up bringing me up for me after, it was a fantastic beer. So, actually, it was not 2023. That was not right. Sorry, 2018. Pardon me.
Okay, I was going to say, we're not even in 2023
We're not in there
yet.
But it was fantastic. Mellow, just a great drinker. Easy drinker, not boozy at all. It wasn't real heavy on the rye, or what? Was it heavy on the rye? No, you couldn't taste the rye at all.
Okay, because I just can't do rye beers. Yeah. I can't do rye bread, really. I don't like the flavor of it.
No, I love rye bread. I love rye, and there was no taste of rye in that for me at all. But you got the berry taste. You definitely got the floral, and it was a totally drinkable stout. It was great. So I'm leaving. Excellent. And I said, you know what? I asked her about this other. I sent you this picture.
Oh my god!
Of a wall of just old stuff, right?
Dude, I beer-gasmed.
Yeah, and everything was going back to 2012.
Yep.
And I asked her, is that stuff? Is that stuff like on clearance? Is it still good? And she's like, oh yeah, it's still good, but you want something better? I'm like, well, hell yes, I want something better. What do you got?
Yes, please.
Fitz, I'm drinking a 2015 KBS.
Oh, shit.
This was from before they took the baby off of the bottle.
Okay.
And it is... Well, let me take a drink. I haven't even had a drink yet. That's good. That's really, really good. Kathleen took care of me. I love Kathleen. I hope Kathleen listens to the show. I've told her about the show. Told her that we'd give her a shout out. That's it. It's surprising. I've never had a beer this old before, and it didn't turn. It did mellow out. It's still drinkable. KBS has some booze to it usually,
Yeah, it does.
but this is pleasant. This is really really nice.
Well, I just want to say, on behalf of the show, on behalf of all of our listeners, huge shout out to Kathleen. Thanks for hooking up McShane.
Yep.
You know, if you're listening, Kathleen, I also love you. It's not a competition or anything like that. We're both married. I'm just saying, you know, when you meet a fellow, you know, someone who knows, right? When you know, you
Yep.
know. And so my beer enthusiast loves the beer enthusiast in you. So
Yeah.
thanks
Yeah.
for hooking up McShane. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm very very impressed. She is the beer maven for Tuckaway Tavern. So Kathleen, I'm dedicating this beer to you. Thank you for
Oh yeah,
taking care of me
huge
tonight
cheers.
and the family. Appreciate it.
Yeah, huge cheers.
Mm.
Mm.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and let our sponsors go ahead and have a word, and we'll get back to jump into some news here before Hefe gets in.
Sounds good.
Okay. So we had quite a week where it comes to polls. A lot of stuff I wanted to get feedback from folks on. I didn't know, we never know what's going to drop. And recently it's been some really heavy politics. It's been a lot of Elon and all this kind of stuff. But this week we actually got some interesting off the wall stuff that I think is worth getting into. Do you want to talk? Let's hold the lab. Let's hold the lab grown meat for when Hefe comes on, because I want him to jump in on that one. Does that sound good?
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and get into. Do we want to talk about Machine Gun Kelly and his little escapades this week?
Yeah, I mean yes. Why not?
Okay.
Part of me. Oh, sorry. No, I didn't know you were going to play the clip. No, part of me, really I just don't fucking care about this guy. Part of me wants to laugh at him, and then part of me wants to smack the shit out of him.
But you have to appreciate the sea anemone look.
It was an impressive look. The porcupine meets sea anemone meets boy band.
Oh, a lot of boy band there. Lot of boy band and really bad.
He's
tattoos.
such a fucking punk ass. I can't believe, and we're not gonna get into the politics of all of it, but I can't believe someone like that took on Eminem and actually thought he was gonna win.
You know, something I did not do. Favorite rock artist. We need to look at this real quick.
And I mean, wasn't he a rapper?
Yeah, he couldn't beat Eminem, so he switched. I mean,
Right.
that's how I'm
Eminem,
taking it.
Yeah, Eminem shredded him. So he beat Imagine Dragons, Main Skin, I don't know who that is, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and the Lumineers. All, I mean, other than Main Skin, I've never heard of, but the other ones are all, I mean, like mega star, like giants.
They're they're giants, but they're not rock stars. They're not rock artists. It's not rock.
I mean, the Chili Peppers are, but the Lumineers certainly are not. Yeah.
Manskin is, I think they're from Italy, and you'd know their songs all over TikTok.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, little androgynous. I mean, they're I like them, but I wouldn't call them rock. I mean, it's almost. Well, one, I wonder just how big a deal the AMAs are.
Clearly they're a joke. I mean, if this is the offerings here, and then that's who wins. Clearly, they're a joke.
Well, what is Metallica then now? Or are they just completely irrelevant, and we're just going to forget that was actually what rock and roll used to be?
No, that's what I was going to bring up. I mean, you had your bands that sort of played on both sides of, were they pop, were they rock? But there are just some names up there like Iron Maiden. I mean, Pantera, Metallica. These are names. I mean, hell, even Guns N' Roses. Like, undebatable, that's rock, right? I mean, even going back to Led Zeppelin. Rolling Stones, hell, even the Beatles. That was rock. I don't know where Machine Gun Kelly falls in the pantheon of rock when we're talking about bands like that.
I don't know how the Lumineers get in there either.
Right, exactly.
I think you could almost make an argument for Red Hot Chili Peppers. I could see them being in there. Maneskin, sure. Yeah, probably, maybe. Imagine Dragons.
I mean, Imagine Dragons, like, they have guitars and stuff, but they're way more poppy.
They're very poppy.
They're very poppy, and I'm not even saying I don't like them. There's some Imagine Dragons songs I definitely get down.
Yeah,
down.
This isn't hating it. It's really it's the bastardization of the rock genre.
Okay,
I think that's really what it is.
And so let me throw this little twist in there, all right?
Yeah.
Because you and I have debated, not with each other, but just we've discussed the fact that this show gets put into news and commentary because we are so much more than that, right? I mean, but I guess if you had to categorize us, if you had to just put this square peg in a round hole, you would try and shove it in the news commentary hole.
Yeah.
So is that what's happening here? That Imagine Dragons, like, they don't know where else to put them, so they put them in rock or the Lumineers? I don't know. Like, what constitutes rock?
I can't figure it out. I really can't. And mind you, this whole conversation started from a ridiculous outfit that Machine Gun Kelly was wearing,
right,
with gigantic, long, purple spines hanging off of it. It was just bizarre. But
if you guys haven't seen this thing, you need to go out and look. I mean, look at the show notes. McShane will have that clip from Twitter, but you need to go out and see this thing. I mean, it was out there with, like, what was that girl's name that she would always show up, and she just had a one word name, like Madonna, or what was her name? She showed up in the goose outfit that one year to the AMAs.
Oh, Shy? No.
No.
Lady Gaga did stuff like that.
Yeah, Lady Gaga too. I mean,
Sia?
No, not Sia. I'll find it.
Okay.
But it's kind of out. It's up there with that. I mean, first of all, whoever the designer is, like, kudos to you. I mean, seriously, that couldn't have been easy to sew those things in there so that they stuck out like that. I'm sorry that you were represented by that douchebag, but good on you for designing something that fucking out there.
It really is. I mean, those are. I don't know how he does anything in those. I can't. You guys got to see it. Like I said, it'll be in show notes. But do we give him now? Here's my. This is a two-parter question. Does he get a pass because he's banging Megan Fox?
No, because she is beautiful, but there is a downside that when she's jerking you off, you have to look at that weird little toe thumb. And I think that makes it all worth it. Just knowing that he has to look down and see her weird little toe thumb on his penis. To me, that just makes everything okay.
How did I not know she has a weird little toe thumb? Now I need
oh
to
my gosh!
thumb.
Yeah, throw that out there to the interwebs. You will get all kinds of weird pictures of her toe thumb.
Did she lose it in like a
No,
combine accident?
She just has an oddly shaped thumb. I mean, that'd be cool if she, like, actually got it hurt. Oh, we got a Hefe sighting here.
Hey, Hefe.
Look at it. That weird little nail, and then it bulges on the end. I wonder if he lets her stick that up her butt. Hefe, how's it going?
Oh, wonderful. I was walking next to some sweet little old lady when you said that.
Perfect. That's what we do.
You can always invite her on the show. Just remember that.
Well, I coughed to cover it up like a full second after you said it, so I think I'm pretty good.
That's fantastic.
That's smooth, awesome. Dude. Smooth as ice.
Hey, Hefe, would you kick Megan Fox out of bed for having a toe thumb?
No.
No. Me either.
I'd make her wear like a mitten or an oven mitt or something like that. But she could.
like one of the like a neoprene like one, plastic one, or like a big, like a mitten.
Any of the above.
I think you need to go. I think you need to go like ski gloves or like snowboard gloves because those are waterproof. You know, like things are going to be getting wet. You might as well.
Sure.
You know, keep it protected. Hey, Hefe, maybe you can help me out with this. There was that weird. She's a weird artist, singer, vocal artist, and she showed up. York, yes, thank you.
Sorry, it just popped into my mind. Sorry to ruin that for you, Hefe.
Okay, so that was Machine Gun Kelly. He kind of was going, York on us.
Yeah.
With that
Bjork's hot though. Bjork's hot though.
Bjork was hot. I don't know if you've seen her lately.
All right.
No.
I'll have to go look at Bjork.
Time has not been kind to her.
Oh, that's too bad. I like her.
Is.
But with this Machine Gun Kelly guy, I don't know him. I don't listen to his music, so I didn't know if it was like when I saw that clip. I mean, all I go off of is just how I feel, and I just got a complete douche, turned off feeling from him. So I don't know if you guys like him, but
I'm
not a big
fan. I'm not a fan at all. And he's total douching it out. We were talking earlier right before you got here. He attempted to be a rapper, and and I think he in order to fan the flames of stardom, he picked a fight with Eminem, which is like the dumbest. Like if you're gonna get in a rap battle with anybody, pick anyone but him. And Eminem like shredded him for like 4 albums in a row.
And he just kept pounding him until he left.
Oh yeah, and then Machine Gun Kelly was like, "Okay, I guess I'm a rock artist now." So he picked up a guitar.
Well, here's the thing: is if I give him, I give him like a thumbs up on that. Like if you're a talented musician,
a toe thumb.
I mean, you don't have to be, grow up on the streets, and it helps, if you're going to be a rapper. But I mean, if you're just a musician and you like rap and you're going to try to rap and you fail, then try something else. And if you succeed at metal or whatever, more power to you. But don't pick a fight with Eminem. Like, I agree with that part completely.
No.
But I mean, I don't fault him for trying something different. Nothing wrong with that. Still a douche.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I don't know. And we were having a debate too, because he won for best rock artist. And so McShane and I were wondering, like, what is rock anymore? Because when we were growing up, we knew, okay, that's definitely rock, that's hip hop, that's rap. Yeah. I mean, there were very clear delineated lines. And remember, it was like a huge thing when Run DMC teamed up with who was it? Pantera, when they did the Judgment Night soundtrack.
Oh, that was Judgment Night?
Yeah, it was Judgment Night, the movie. That was the soundtrack off of that. But and they also teamed up with Aerosmith too.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I mean, and it was like, okay, they're crossing genres there, but we still clearly know who the rock guys are and who the rap guys are.
Right.
And now, like, what?
Oh yeah, you remember? I don't think I said it on the show, but I think I just said it to you guys over text. But when my kids asked me to put on a rock song on the way back from school, and I was just like, "Dear God, where do I go with this? What do I play right now?"
Yeah.
I mean, the selection is, and yeah, it's a very good point about that Aerosmith song. You could tell who was bringing this to the table, who was bringing that to the table, and now it's all blurred.
You guys, it's interesting you bring up Judgment Night. Have you seen the soundtrack from Judgment Night?
Oh yeah, I've got it on my phone. Yeah,
it's sick. You've got
it is
Cypress Hill, Onyx and Biohazard, Helmet, House of Pain, De La Soul, Teenage Fan Club, Slayer and Ice-T, Sir Mix-a-Lot and Mudhoney, Dinosaur Jr. and Del the Funky. I can't remember what is Del the Funky.
Del the Funky, yeah.
Anyway,
I don't remember.
Faith No More and Living Color and Living Color and Run DMC.
Yeah, that was the one I was thinking of. There with Living Color.
It's That's an absolutely sick lineup. I mean, that's a crazy movie too. It was a great movie.
It was, and wasn't didn't Public Enemy teamed up with? That's who it was. Public Enemy teamed up with Pantera, I think.
I can't see that one, but
yeah, I don't see it
I
on
also
there.
found Pearl Jam and Cypress Hill.
Oh, that was a good one too. Yes.
Fatal and Therapy. Wow, I need to go back and listen to that soundtrack. That's phenomenal. Wow.
I used to have that on cassette tape.
Hey, stop dating us, dude. What the fuck's wrong with you? Jesus. The kids out there are like, what's a cassette tape?
All right, this is Whiskey Hell for all those 40-somethings.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
So what's going on at the casino tonight, Hefe? Besides old ladies hearing me describe a toe thumb in a butthole.
Well, I dealt to a table with this couple, and she was like, I think I remember you here. And he's like, they weren't sitting next to each other because there's only two spots open on separate sides of the table. And so the husband is like, yeah, Jeff. Yeah, we had Jeff. That was like back in September. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember, because she was dressed up in some really nice dress back then. And I started thinking like, and she was like making eyes at me. So I started thinking like, what would I do if I got, offered
an indecent proposal?
Yeah. Well, no, not an indecent proposal.
Because you would take it. Yeah.
I'd take the money every day of the week. But just a proposal of, menage a trois.
Uh-huh.
And I've been doing this the better part of a decade now. And I've never gotten, a clear invitation. Let's put it that way. But I think she was pretty hot, so I think I would have to consider that.
I mean, you understand, like, once there's ground rules, no eye contact, swords don't touch, my holes are off limits. Like, you make these ground rules, and I think you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
So do you write it down in a contract? Okay. Number
Absolutely.
one. No sword touching. Or do you have like a referee in the room to make sure that none of this stuff happens? And if it does happen, you like send the guys to their corner, right?
Breach of contract. That's a breach of contract.
Standing 8 count. I think I should
award somebody a point.
I should draw up that contract and just keep it in my back pocket every night I come to work.
Oh yeah, you never know.
Just run it by your lawyer. Make sure it's good. Have Gretchen sign off on it as a witness. Can you do that?
Oh, you need. Yeah, she needs to become a notary, and then it's official.
You just walk up to a table, and every time a girl says hi to me, I reach for the back pocket. Like, yes, it's there. Okay, it's ready to go.
Hey, just so you all know, I do have a contract in place. Just so you all know.
You what?
Never mind. I'm just letting you know early, up front, in case it comes up.
It's on a scroll, and you just like let it fall out, and there's just this list of demands that are in there.
Here.
Yeah.
The little,
initial here.
The little dudes at the horns come out, and then you unroll the scroll. Oh yes, I love this.
Would you like insurance with that initial here?
Yeah.
And sorry, I need you to sign this too. You don't go anywhere.
Yeah. Where's my notary at?
Wait a minute. What's this about reach arounds? I don't understand.
Just sign it. Fuck.
God, I've done this 100 times. Just sign it. Oh shit.
Honey, I'm scared. This guy came too prepared.
What is wrong with us?
What isn't wrong with us? I think that's the question.
Well, that's a very good point, McShane.
That's just being a modern day Boy Scout right there.
Yeah, it's called being prepared, is what it is.
Exactly. I mean, how mad would I be if I didn't have that contract in place? Yeah,
and then he starts circling around behind you, and you're like, wait, whoa. Hold
I'll
on.
be like, you remember the Oh shit, there's no contract. As he's like inserting it
Yeah. As he's like
into the FA hole.
spitting on you.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yikes!
Stop!
Hey.
It just got too real. I
Wow.
only use coconut oil. You.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, good times.
There.
Good
There.
times.
We took that to the line and
Yeah.
kicked the
Jumped
line
right over.
Yep. That's gone.
Oh, that's good stuff right there.
Thankfully, we can edit. That's all right.
Hey, speaking of meat, did we want to bring up that story, McShane?
Yeah. How much time do you have, Hefe?
Like a minute.
Oh shit.
Let's hold it over for the next one.
Okay. All right.
We'll do that, and then we'll get it because I want to get Hefe's perspective on that one. So plan on discussing lab grown meat.
Oh, okay.
Not
all right. Yeah.
That's the kind you eat, not.
Yeah.
You know,
oh, not female scientists.
No, nothing else you're gonna do with it. No.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it should be 40 minutes. So I'll be back soon.
All right. Is that a 1 ball or a 2 ball?
2 ball.
2 ball.
Hey,
See, I'm working on the lingo.
Yeah, you are. And I've got a picture in my head right now of Hefe doing 2 balls, and it's
2
great.
balls. You know, at Tuckaway Tavern today, we had something called rooster balls.
Okay.
And they were magical. They were like meatballs, only it was buffalo chicken fried into a ball. And I can't tell you, it was the first time that my wife had to endure about 10 minutes of dick jokes. And my boy's doing nothing but, hey, put this ball in your mouth. And it was just over and over and over again. It was absolutely fantastic. It was like a coming of age for probably both my wife and I. Yeah.
Remember lamb fries?
Oh.
You guys remember those?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Never had them, but yes, I remember.
You remember that movie, D?
Yep. How many can you choke down?
Mm-hmm.
Was that the Great Outdoors?
No, that was Funny Farm.
Oh, geez, Funny Farm. Yeah,
That was a great Chevy Chase.
That was one of Chevy's. That was one of Chevy Chase's best.
Oh
ones,
yeah, one of our. I'm pretty sure Hefe and I could probably go through that whole movie and quote the whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
We watched that thing so many times.
Back in his heyday.
Yep.
All right, I got to get in.
All right,
All right, brother. We'll see you in a bit.
Okay.
Well, just quickly getting back to Machine Gun Kelly. I guess Hefe kind of has a point. I will yield to Hefe's point, which is he failed at something new, and a lot of people just fade away when that happens. And instead, he just went out and reinvented himself, and he scored an AMA for it. And I guess I mean, I'm sitting in my home office recording a podcast, and he's out banging Megan Fox and looking at his AMA award. So good on him. I'm not into it. So, but that's okay. Not everybody likes my music, so it's cool.
Wow. This is like a kinder, gentler Whiskey Hell. I feel like we just made sense of him. And
I know.
We came to terms. We came to terms with him.
We can't, that's a good way to put it. And I definitely need to drink more because I am not nearly
this isn't
enough.
right.
No, this isn't right. No.
So I'm not ready for. I'm not saying I'm ready for beer number 2, but I got to tell you. So I don't have a refrigerator in this room, but I have all of my beers sitting out on this little balcony. Now, I didn't know that this was going to come in handy like this, but it's like 40 degrees out. I mean, it's like perfect for beer. So that's where all my beers are. So when I go to get beer 2, I have to step outside, literally onto my balcony to go get my beers.
That's pretty cool, dude. I mean, I've had that experience as well, and I guess I could do that here. It's been so cold here. Normally the winters here are they're wet, but they're generally mild. I mean, we'll get down in the 40s at night, and it'll go up to 52 during the day, and then back down in the 40s. So not a lot of temperature swings, but wet and chilly. Right. It's been downright fucking cold. We lost a bunch of our plants. They all froze. because we didn't bring them in soon enough. This coming week, they're predicting inches of snow, up to feet of snow, which is just very unusual. Usually we don't get that kind of snow until Christmas.
Yeah.
And we've already had a snow in early November, and now we got more snow coming up. It's just very, very strange. But it's been like, we're going to be down in the teens this week. So it's legitimately cold. Yeah.
Yeah, we had snow in Chicago, which blew my son's mind. I mean, we're from Phoenix, so there
I love it. Right.
But here I'm walking around. I was walking around with just a sweater on today, nothing else. It was an absolutely gorgeous day. We had a little bit of rain the other day, but nothing. I mean, it's freaking perfect. So,
you kind of got there in a little bit of a pocket because there's another storm coming, but I think you'll get out of there before it hits.
Yeah, and the West is also supposed to get smashed too. So it's gonna get cold. I'm thankful we were here when we were.
Yeah, good timing.
Let's talk about narrative shifts real quick, because I think we got a couple of big ones that we've kind of latched on to. Now, I think one of the obvious ones, and we'll get to the Twitter one, because we have a poll out for that one too. But the one that we found most interesting this week was probably the COVID ramp up again.
Yeah.
We're seeing the White House is coming out. We've got out of the blue, Anthony Fauci makes his appearance for the first time in months.
Yeah.
And that ended up in him getting a little. He got some targeted questions about COVID and where it came from and how he approached it, and the White House press secretary shut him down real fast. Did not want to talk about any of that stuff.
CJP she was shaking. She was so mad.
Oh, she was pissed.
I mean, she was like,
and even more ineffective than usual.
Right. I mean, whatever the questions were, they were about the roots of COVID, it shook her. I mean, I've not seen her shaken before. I mean, she's the most amazing gaslighter I've ever seen, and she couldn't even gaslight the dude. She just flat out got, I'm done. Like she got her mama voice on, and she was it was crazy.
It was as though she wasn't prepared for the question.
Yeah, right.
And I don't, how do you not, if you're going to put him up there, how are you not ready for that kind of attack? Especially now, after there's been a tremendous amount of stuff coming out about the vaccine, about how it was approached, where it came from, how it was handled, all the stuff from Pfizer, and how, it didn't test well.
Couple of big documentaries came out too. One of them, it's called "Died Suddenly," and it's all about these people that got the vax and the shit they're finding in the veins of these people. These marathon runners and soccer players and elite athletes, and they do an autopsy because the family wants to know what the hell happened. This was a happy, healthy young person, and then they drop dead 2 weeks after they got the vaccine. So they're doing these autopsies and they're finding this gunk. I don't know what else to call it. This hardened blood clot gunk in their arteries, and so that documentary came out, and then they prop up Fauci. I don't know. Are they pulling at some heartstrings here? Are we just supposed to feel sorry for the old man? Why would they do that?
The way I took it was like it was his Lou Gehrig moment. He got to go out and give one more press briefing. Just for old time's sake. Joe probably said, hey, let's go and send him out there. Hey, Anthony, you just want one more go with the press corps. Just let everybody know all the good stuff you did and COVID and how everybody should, wear masks and hunker down at home and, and all that kind of stuff. But that's how I took it. It was just his last time in front of the crew. Because there wasn't anything relevant that came from it. It was nothing more than, hey, get out there, and it was an ad for Pfizer. I mean, that's what it was.
Yeah. I mean, it was. It was just more rhetoric. And then you got Dr. Jaw here, which was the original story that you pulled up. Well, let's go ahead and listen to what he said. I still can't believe they're sticking to this narrative. I can't believe it.
And just to let everybody know, get the jab, don't get the jab, do whatever you're going to do. Okay.
Oh,
We've said this a long time. It's all up to you. The way we approach our show is we're looking at the narratives, we're looking at all the information that's out there, and we're looking for where the imbalances are. That's our whole point in this. If you want to get it, awesome. It doesn't matter. It all comes down to you, and your taking action is the most important thing in whatever direction that you choose. Captain your own ship.
Yep.
It's just interesting when you get rhetoric like this.
An important part of the conversation we have in the days and weeks ahead. Because here's what we know. If folks get their updated vaccines and they get treated if they have a breakthrough infection, we can prevent essentially every COVID death in America. That is a remarkable fact 2.5 years after we found this virus first in our country. But it's going to take all of us to make that happen. So please, don't wait. Get your COVID shot. Get your flu shot. That's why God gave you 2 arms. Get one in each arm if you want. Go to vaccines.gov.
It's really bad writing.
Good God. It's
really
bad.
really bad writing. That's
Really
why
bad.
God gave you 2. And he keeps with that.
Yeah.
He said that like every time he comes out to poster boy this particular perspective, he has to use that little take.
Yep.
And
Yeah, that's his tagline.
It truly is his tagline. I mean, I maybe he's selling shirts. I don't know.
Do they have 2 sleeves?
Well, I hope they do.
That's why we have 2 arms.
Or maybe they're tank tops, so your arms are more exposed for all the jabs.
Oh, that's really
maybe that's it.
That's a really good thought. It's a vest.
I think we've already proven that people are going to die from getting sick, whether you get a jab or not. Now, it might control it some. It might tone it down in some cases. It may exacerbate things in other ways, depending on what your health is.
Yeah,
Don't come out and say stuff like that, because all you're doing is giving people false narrative.
Well, because now what's going to change is, in the beginning, if you got in a really bad car accident and you died in that hospital and you also happened to have COVID, you were marked down as a COVID death. Well, now that he's coming out and saying that the vaccine will save everybody's life, if you're vaccinated and you come in with, you're 300 pounds overweight, you have diabetes, and you die of a heart attack on the table because you got vaxxed, that will never come out. You absolutely died of a heart attack, period. And you didn't have COVID ever.
But, and it's interesting that they got to play 2 sides of the coin, though, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Since 2020, everybody got diagnosed with COVID and died from it. But now nobody should be dying from it. So it's almost like they're trying to clean up the books.
That's what I'm saying. The number one factor to all those early COVID deaths was, your health, your obesity rate, your diet, whether or not you had diabetes, whether or not you had lung problems, if you were a smoker, all these things that we know to be known factors in all deaths. What do you know? COVID hit those people the hardest. Healthy young people they had no business getting the vaccine. We just didn't need it. And we know that now. And again, as McShane said, you captain your own ship. You make those choices for you and your family. I'm not trying to persuade you one way or the other. I'm just saying these are the facts. And so now here we are. And like you said, they want to now flip the narrative. They want to play the other side of the coin. And the problem is with that is there's enough of us out there. And I'm going to include all of our listeners, because if you're smart enough to listen to this show, you're smart enough to know that this is all about the narratives and about making some people some money. And there's enough of us out there now that are seeing through the bullshit, and we're just not going to put up with it again. I mean, can you imagine if they come out tomorrow and they say, hey, we're locking everything down again. We're locking down the economy. Small businesses, you got all closed. Everybody has to wear a mask if you do go out, if you have to work because you're an essential worker. Otherwise, stay home. Do you think people would really go for that?
Well, they aren't in China.
Fuck no, they're not. Whoa! I've seen some riots. That was a riot. Holy shit!
And that was just workers from Foxconn. So go to the show notes, take a look. We have some some fantastic footage from China. And kudos to whoever got this out. Basically, the situation in China is it's out of control. The more the country tries to lock down the people, the big communist regime, people are starting to strike back. This is just Foxconn. Law enforcement at the Foxconn iPhone plant in the Chinese city of Zhengzhou. Did I do that right?
Zhengzhou. but you're
okay,
close.
so I just didn't do it fast enough. I wasn't abrupt.
Right. Yeah.
That's close. I keep trying.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good.
Appear to have completely lost control of the situation. So what we see here is there were police, there were health officials in white, in their hazmat suits, and people are they're chucking barricades. I mean, they're not. You don't have enough people to people are not scared of these guys anymore.
No, that's what struck me about this video first was you've got maybe, I don't know, from that view, you've got maybe 40 cops and like 15 health officials. And about, I don't know, I'm going to guesstimate 10,000 people. I mean, there is a throng of life of these humans who are not going to put up with it. And they just start picking shit up and throwing it at these guys. I mean, it's crazy.
One of the themes, now Foxconn, okay, where
what do they make?
They make iPhones. They make other tech. They make other tech, but one of their biggest deals is Apple products, period, especially iPhones. So at this plant, Chinese government remotely switched the protesters' Chinese iPhone factory workers' COVID passports to code red. Now that was after 36,000 incidents or findings of or infections of COVID. Okay, and the thing you got to understand about China, they have a zero COVID policy. So if anybody has COVID, that area is getting shut down until there is no more COVID. And when they shut down blocks, people go hungry. They don't take care of their people. It's fine if they go ahead and die. It's better than them having COVID.
Well, just on that point, did you hear what happened in shoot, I'm going to find out the city, but it was a pretty major city in China. They're in a COVID lockdown because of, as you mentioned, the zero COVID policy. The building caught fire. Now, what the Chinese officials are doing to keep people in these buildings is actually hard welding the gates, the doors. They're not letting anyone out until they say, well, this building catches on fire and like 15 people died. Another few people like jumped from the roof. It was kind of like 9/11 style, like they didn't have anywhere else to go, and they were severely injured. So here's the deal. And I don't know why regimes, governments, why they don't get this, but you can only push people so far.
Right.
And then they're gonna just have enough, because at some point you push them far enough in your head, you go, what do I have to lose? I might as well. And maybe I'll help. Even if I go down, maybe I'll help the guy behind me get out. And it's worth it.
Or I'm going to take enough with me that it starts to change something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what do you think the kamikaze pilots in World War II were all about? I'm going down, but I'm going to hit a fucking ship when I do it. So I don't know. I don't know why they think. And listen, technology's come far enough that they definitely can have control over the population, for sure. But you will never gain ultimate control. There will always be someone smarter than you because their life is on the line. So their problem-solving skills and their creativity skills are going to go through the roof because they're trying to save their ass and their family's ass. And they will go to any lengths. And governments are not willing to go to the lengths that we are. They're just not. So what's your alternative? Kill everybody? Cool. Now you don't have a tax base.
It is pretty intense. It is really intense. And this is the stuff that not a lot of this information does get out. I'm going off of what's on Twitter. We always try to scrub our sources. I'm pretty confident in this one because I've seen enough of this.
Yeah.
But it's scary stuff. And this also goes back to the whole, what was it? I totally just blanked on it. Social. Oh my God.
The social credit score.
Yeah, the social credit score.
Yeah.
So if you have a QR code and your QR code gets turned red because you have COVID, you're completely bastardized. Not only are you locked in place, but you're shut off from basic necessities.
Yep. And what is that? Okay, so you get shut down from basic necessities.
Mhm.
Great. The government has exercised their power against you. Okay. So now what? All right.
I still got to try and live.
Yeah, I'm hungry. My kids are hungry. And guess what? The neighbor next door that I've known for 30 years, he's very sympathetic to my situation. So he's going to fucking help me out. At his own peril, he'll help me out. And the neighbor next to him is his brother, so he's going to help him out. And what do you know? You have a small little cadre of a revolution starting, a whisper. This is how these things start. So I found that story. It was 10 were killed in this apartment fire in northwest China. Xinjiang is the name of the region, and another 9 people were injured because they jumped out of their windows. And this was one of those situations where, and I'll go ahead and send you the news story here so you can post it to show notes. But the situation was they had welded all the doors, all the fire exits shut. So then this fire starts, and again, I'm in an apartment building and all of my doors have been welded shut. And I see this story and I go, well, fuck this. I'm going to find a way to sneak a welder in this building so I can get out, or I'm going to start digging a hole through the basement. I mean, you cannot keep people captive like this forever. You just can't. They're going to find a way. I mean, hell, people escaped off of Alcatraz. And that's, if you've ever been there, that's an amazing place to get off of, but people did it.
Yeah. Interesting times. Very interesting times.
It really is. And kind of, I'm going to be honest here. Maybe this is the Bourbon County finally hitting bottom, but it's kind of exciting. Because I feel like, we've all been lulled into this semi stupor, like that sound you hear at 2 a.m. and we're still in that moment where you're like, okay, am I really hearing something, or is it just my mind playing tricks on me? We're all kind of now waking up to the awareness. No, I fucking heard something and I don't like it.
Yeah.
And so we're going to stand up and do something about it. I hope. That's all I can say. I hope. And I'm not Whiskey Hell is not out there, planning a revolution. That's not what we're here to do. But we are definitely here to get people to question the narratives, to dig deeper, to think about what you're hearing from the quote unquote officials, and then make up your own mind about whether or not that jives. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, then start finding alternative sources. That's all we're here to do.
How's that beer going?
You know what? I've got probably another sip left, and then it's done, and I'm ready for beer 2.
All right. Well, I like what I had, and I am ready for beer 2 also. And I'm going to go ahead and shift gears. I have a beer that I'm going to release tomorrow after it's cooled off a little bit more. It's an old one. It's like 2016 also. It's an Imperial Russian Stout that I picked up from Tuckaway Tavern also. The Tuckaway Tavern, they're not sponsored by us. It's just cool shit, and we're talking about it, and Kathleen's amazing, and it just has to be. This is pro bono. It has to happen. So
love it.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and throw it to some sponsors real quick. Let them talk it out, and we will get our second beer.
Sweet.
All right, coming back to beer 2. So I went to a place called Beer Alley, and this is the Boston Public Market. One of the cool things about this particular area that I'm in is they do a lot with indoor markets. So you've got Faneuil Hall, Quincy Market, and then this other Boston Public Market, which is like not even. I mean, we're talking tenths of a mile to walk to. I could walk there for breakfast tomorrow. Not a big deal. But they have a little place called Beer Alley. Now, in Beer Alley, they have nothing but wall-to-wall beer and spirits that I've never heard of before. Not the Jack Daniels and stuff like that. So they had some interesting stuff. Plus, I even found some Superstition Meadery there, which blew me away because I didn't think they would get all the way out here. Now, Superstition.
Oh yeah, that's from Arizona.
Yeah, it's a meadery in a very small part of Arizona, which they're phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, but anyway, so went in there I walked out with 8 different beers. Fitz, my total was $48.
Oh wow.
And I think there was a couple of them that were heavy hitters. Like the one I'm going to drink now I think it was about $12. And typically for the beers that you and I usually get, we're talking $8 to $10 probably, maybe up to 15 around there. I mean, with some higher end stuff sometimes, but usually
my
like
Bourbon County was $15.29.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was super impressed by the cost. I'm super impressed by the cost of pretty much everything out here. Gas was actually in New Hampshire today $3.50.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
remember
impressive.
Back in the day when it was like $1.25, 89 cents, stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
We're oohing and awing over $3.50. Well, where we're from, everybody, it's still around $4.20. So.
Yeah. Well, actually, so interesting note, really quick. This weekend, and I think there's a few factors, and we haven't really gotten into the economy in this show yet. But we went from $4.39. My wife and I saw $4.39 on the day before Thanksgiving. Just today, I saw it at $4.09. So it dropped 30 cents in what, 3 or 4 days. So there are pressure relief valves out there in the the economy verse that are kind of taking effect right now, and it's helping, but there's still caution to be had, and we may get into that later in the show. But anyway, definitely gas prices are dropping, so that's good.
So I've been really impressed by the cost out here of pretty much everything, even food. It's better than a home. This particular beer is an Imperial Stout. I'm drinking Spelled in Bones. Now this is actually by Foam Brewers, and they are in, I think it was, I just lost it, Burlington, Vermont. Imperial Stout. Now the interesting thing about this is that they're not coming out and saying it's a chili beer. It should be a chili beer. So listen what's in this. Well, let me go ahead and bring up the site. Oh, and it's not currently available at their site even. That's cool. Oh, they don't have it on their site what it's about. That sucks. All right. I'm going to read it from the can. Brewed with cocoa nibs, vanilla bean, ancho chili peppers, and a touch of cinnamon.
Oh god, that just made my mouth water, dude.
Big thick head, beautiful. Let's take a drink real quick. Oh, that's trouble. It's a little bit of kick. The ancho is very slight. Cinnamon's there. I get a little bit of maple, but it's got that mouth-watering taste to it that makes you want to drink more. This is
Nice.
a dangerous one at 10%, and that's a $20. And on their site, it's a $20 beer. I don't think I paid that for that one, but yeah, they're saying it's a $20 beer through them.
Well, that seems excessive. For a 10%er, I mean, you can, if you get up into those 15-16% range where it just, it takes 3 years to brew the damn thing, then $20, $25, you can, but I sent you that picture. There's a beer at my local market of choice that's like $68. I mean, it's $68 and it's only a 12-ounce bottle. It's not a bomber.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, that better have gold in it, or like, ensure that I'm gonna have a 10-inch penis or something. I don't like, that's too much.
It does not promote penis growth or girth.
Well,
I do like the artwork. Maybe they have to pay the artist. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's
the artwork's cool.
It's a lot smoother than what I was expecting. After having like Stones, what is it? Justice and Crime and Punishment.
What is that one?
It was Crime and Punishment. There was
Crime
two
and
of
Punishment. There you go. Yeah.
And other ancho chili beers. Ancho and Chipotle are always the ones to go to.
Yeah.
This is definitely the most drinkable of the ones that I've had.
Nice.
Is it the most enjoyable? I don't know that I can say that, but I can definitely tell you it's the most drinkable. It's not like last week's beer where I was just like, okay, this is like water. It's not that. There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
Would I pay $20 for it? Probably not.
Yeah, that. Like I said, that's excessive. I mean, unless it's something like you just know you're gonna love, that's
You know what? That might
$20
be
is too much.
$20 for the 4-pack. The way they're promoting on the site, that might be for the 4-pack. That would make sense.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Yep.
All right. What do you got?
Yeah, and that art is really cool, by the way. Check that out. Well, I went fucking okay. See, you've got a magnet, right? You got the north part of the magnet, you got the south part of the magnet. If I started on the north with my first beer with that Bourbon County, I definitely went to the south pole of this magnet, of the beer magnet, because I went with a Two Towns cider. Two Towns is a big outfit up here in Corvallis, Oregon, about 45 minutes north here of my house, and they generally do some pretty decent ciders, but they kind of just do kind of run of the mill. They have a couple of like imperial ciders where they might get up to like 7% or something, but they don't go too much out of their wheelhouse. Well, lately, and I'll just say like the last half of 2022 here, they've been doing some new stuff. They're still doing apple ciders, but they're playing. They're adding some new ingredients. They're getting some new recipes in there. So I saw this one and I thought, all right, I have to take a gamble here. So this is Two Towns Cider House. This is their Crisp and Crumble apple pie cider, reminiscent of your favorite apple pie. Crisp and Crumble is spice and everything nice. Jonah Gold apples and a blend of the coziest spices will have you feeling all the cheerful, festive vibes. So this is a seasonal that they're going to be putting out, and I had to try it. It's only a 5.5%, which is fine because I started out with a 14.5. So let's give this thing a day in court. Oh my good God! Oh shit!
Sounds like a good return.
Oh shit, dude. All right. So you remember how a couple weeks ago I was talking about having sex with food, and you know, like American Pie style, like you have sex with the pie while it's still warm. Well, this is the pie fucking me back. This is the stripper.
Oh no,
that,
you didn't.
Oh yeah, this is the stripper that sits down on you. It doesn't just grind, but she moves her coverings to the side and really grinds.
Goodness.
Oh yeah, no, there's residue on my pants right now. This is amazing. Holy God.
The beer's residue or yours?
Yes, exactly.
Perfect.
Oh my goodness.
What was the name of it again?
Dude, it's the Crisp and Crumble. So
Crisp and Crumble.
Yeah, this is an apple pie in a glass. And you know what's weird is sometimes you get these ciders and they add some ingredients and it'll come out kind of cloudy. This came out like crisp, clear, you know, just beautiful golden color when it poured out of the can. So I thought, well, how are they going to get that, you know, that warm, you know, flavor to it? And I don't know how they did it, but holy shit. This is a kind of one of those dangerous ones. You could have 10 of these and not even realize it. Thirst quenching, a little sour on the as far as ciders go, not super sweet, but then you get those winter spices. There's like allspice in there. There's cinnamon. There's nutmeg. They really did a nice job with this beer. Very well balanced. Well done, Two Towns. I like I said, they're a solid cider, but they're not my go-to. Like I want something kind of out there and different. This one fucking hits, man. This is really, really good. I bought a 4-pack and I'm really glad I did.
So they may be turning a corner then.
I really hope so, because, ciders can be really complex if you just, give them a chance. And so yeah, I'm hoping they are turning a corner here. I'm hoping this is a portent of good things to come, because fuck, they nailed this one. Holy shit.
Well, that's awesome. All right. Well, I think we're doing pretty well for our second beers here.
Oh yeah, I'm very happy. Very happy.
Let's get into some listener feedback. How's that?
Yeah, so I don't know if you had any listener feedback lately, but I had an interesting back and forth with a couple of our listeners this week.
Yeah.
And so one of them was, well, both of them were on the same vein, which is they listened to last week's episode, and they had never even heard of FTX, let alone kind of the debacle, the fallout that's coming from FTX. And by the way, that isn't still an ongoing story for all of our listeners out there. We still have more to cover with that. I just think McShane and we had a lot of other stuff that kind of superseded it this week, but there is definitely still more fallout coming from that. So stay tuned. But both of the people that I interacted with said that they had never heard of FTX, first of all. Second of all, didn't know that there was a big meltdown. Third of all, had no idea of the direct ties to the Democratic Party. And an interesting thing came out of one of those conversations, which is one of the people, and again, I'm not going to get into names, one of the people that I was talking to said, if I had known this before the election, there's no way I would have voted Democrat.
Wow.
And I thought, wow. I mean, the timing on this thing, that the way that whoever they are, the they in quotes, the way they planned this thing and timed it was so perfect, because they got the votes they needed, and then they just fucking faded off into the shadows with their billions, and let FTX as a company take the downfall. Pretty incredible. So I just wanted to share that. Number one, thank you all for the listener feedback. We love that. The more feedback, the better. We've gotten some great feedback on Twitter this week. And then to have direct conversation that way with a couple of our listeners was just really valuable. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for letting us know you're listening. And then also that you have some opinions on what the fuck we're talking about. But just, I thought that was an interesting little piece there. That you and I are kind of, breaking some stories that people haven't heard of before, but then also these stories have huge ramifications that nobody's covering. Like the mainstream media is not covering this stuff. That story's been memory hold. They're not talking about it anymore. It's up to the rest of us to bring it up again.
They're trying to get as far away from it as possible. In fact, what the big thing is that, well, Twitter's bad, Twitter's bad, Twitter's bad, Twitter's bad, Twitter's bad. That's the big thing that we're pushing right now. So they want to get as far away from the elections, which really, call it what it is, it came to a draw. Then you got all the FTX stuff that came out, and that was hot for about 2 days. And like you said, we're not going to see anything, even though we've even seen information come out that there were 8 senators that requested the SEC actually look into FTX before all of this shit went down, but nobody did it. It's being swept under the rug. Like you said, let's just call it what it is. It's memory holding. Nobody wants to talk about it. They're going to go and push it off to the side like they did everything else, whether it be the Biden laptop, anything Epstein, all of that stuff. It's absolutely, it's disgusting. I mean, I think we know that,
and it's obvious,
and it's blatantly obvious.
Yeah,
it's blatantly obvious, especially when you look at how much money this Joker actually paid to Republican and Democrat. Sorry, I'm going to leave the Democrat Party because it was a hell of a lot more, but also the Republicans. He did not want to have any oversight, and he worked really hard not to get any.
Yep. Hey, we have a sighting here.
While we're talking about while we're actually talking about listener feedback, we got some on the lab-grown meat. Hefe, are you ready to talk about how McDonald's may approach hamburgers in the near future?
Okay, are they going to get worse?
Oh, they're going to be.
Oh,
Well,
so
I
much
don't
worse.
know. I don't know though, right? I mean, because if you can actually create meat in a lab, you can make sure that all the meat is low cholesterol, right, and super healthy,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's like perfect meat then.
Yeah, but so again, my little personal experiment that I went on, my little personal journey about trying to just go completely vegetarian and just eat like plant-based proteins. I'm telling you guys, it was not the same. It is not the same. It didn't taste the same. My body didn't feel the same. My muscle mass went down. My my bowel movements were strange. I'll just say that. Um, it's not the same. But anyway,
Well, so when I'm over with the kids, sometimes when I'm in charge of dinner, we'll do chili dogs because it's they love chili dogs.
They're chili dogs,
And,
man.
Yeah, and I like to get 2 dogs on the buns and just like smother it like with a fucking can of chili. Like I'm not gonna pick it up and eat it. I'm eating it with a fork. Okay, that's the way I roll.
right.
Anyway, so made the kids some, and went back in there and was gonna boil a couple for myself, and all the hot dogs were gone. I was like, oh damn, that sucks. And I already heated up the chili, so like, what should I do? And the kid's mom said, well, there's those other hot dogs in there. And I went in there and there was a plant-based hot dog. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I took one bite of it. And do you guys remember Tijuana Mamas at Circle K?
No.
They're
No.
like
I
a
did
spiced, it's like a spiced sausage thing. And it's like, kind of looks like a small hot dog. And that's what this tasted like, except not spicy. It was just bland and disgusting. I took one bite of it, and then I pulled the hot dogs out, and I pretty much just ate the bread and the chili together. So I don't know if that's exactly what we're talking about, but I'm not really standing in line waiting for the new kind of meat coming out.
So there's a Singapore-based company that has actually gotten the go-ahead by the FDA to be able to create lab-grown meat. The FDA is totally cool with it. It's the no-kill product cultivated from animal cells, and it has only a small regulatory hurdles left before it can be sold in restaurants. So this is like here, and they're showing up a little picture of chicken nuggets. It looks like chicken nuggets. I mean, I wouldn't probably know any better.
Fancy chicken nuggets with flowers on it.
Yeah. It's very fancy.
And this could be different than the plant-based stuff that Hefe and I are talking about. I mean, this is actually from animal cells and grown in a lab. And I'm trying not to sound disgusted when I say grown in a lab, because I mean, there's actually people out there walking around with us that are grown in a lab, like they're actual people. So it can't be all bad, but why? What's wrong with? Well, never mind. Go ahead.
So basically, what it comes down to is we are going to have options in the near future of actually eating lab produced food. Now, we went ahead and put a poll out because it's what we do, and this is how the poll shook out. Would you eat meat grown in a lab, meaning it's no kill, but it's not animals? The FDA has approved it for one company. Yes, give me the meat. 40.9% of our voters, there's 22 votes, chose yes, they would. 59.1% didn't. So not a huge uptake on it. We usually get upwards of 50% or 50 voters. But it was still interesting nonetheless. The comments that we got, Nomads of Fantasy, I mean, people eat hot dogs. That alone tells me people eat anything, which that's true. I'm right there on that.
Sure.
Some hot dogs. I mean, there's other hot dogs that aren't as awful as others, but still, I get where he's coming from, totally. The 80s movie podcast, as long as it's well tested, grown ethically, and doesn't harm humans, or animals, absolutely. All right. And that's really that's really the comments we got for that one.
That's a really good point there that 80s movie podcast made there. As long as it's not harming humans, I mean that's the big question mark, right? Because the FDA has given approval, but what does that mean? I mean, we know the CDC's been bought and paid for. We've had that proven over the last 2 years. So, and we're pretty
Why
sure
wouldn't the FDA?
Right, pretty sure the FDA is right along there with them. So, I mean, how can we be sure that this lab grown stuff isn't going to be like giving us mad cow disease? Like, how do we know it's not human cells that they're growing?
Yeah. How do we know we're living in the land or in a time of mRNA?
Yep.
How do we know that something lab based isn't going to have some ability to go ahead and change the way we process things or the nutrients and how those nutrients are absorbed?
Change your genes.
Do you know that? We already have cattle that's taking huge amounts of antibiotics. And just for the record, I love me a steak, so I'm not going away from it. But let's be honest, unless you're buying strictly organic, you're going to get something that's got antibiotics stuck in it. Or it's on some kind of feed that's not exactly organic either. So, I mean, you've got a lot of things that are going into that. So it's hard to say that's not perfect, obviously. But
I mean, I guess that's my point is, you know, they talk about this government entity that approves, you know, A vaccine or B meat product or whatever. I think a lot of us at this point are pretty distrustful of government, period. Like in general, government really doesn't have my best interests. They're just there to make money for people or for businesses. And so why would this be any different? I guess that's what a lot of us are asking. And so we're going to be skeptical when McDonald's says, hey, this was a completely lab-grown Big Mac. Like, fuck off. I'm going to Burger King where they, you know, fry up actual cattle. I don't know. Hefe, what's your take?
I agree with you guys, and I agree with the 80s movie podcast guy. And it has to actually taste decent, because I don't want to eat stuff that tastes like shit. I mean, it could be healthy or safe or whatever you want to call it, but it's got to taste good too, right?
Yeah.
So if they can do that and somehow, I guess, I mean, living in La La Land here, but if they can somehow prove to us that it's safe, then I'm all in.
Yeah, I mean, so just to like completely take a hard right here, I mean, are we entering Soylent Green territory here?
Yeah, well, right.
All you have to do, you've already seen that there's a push to eliminate cattle. I mean, how much there's the narrative for the amount of methane that cattle give off. I mean, that's been a massive push. I mean, that's bullshit, period. But that's
literally
there's been
it's bullshit.
Literally.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's another narrative that's out there. You absolutely, this fills a need and this fills a niche. But Beyond Meat didn't take off.
No, in fact, it's just taken a huge hit the last quarter. They've lost a tremendous amount of money.
I mean, this all seems like so two of my problems. One, I feel like you could genetically modify it to fuck with us. Period. That's me being a skeptic and a conspiracy theorist. But two, this is pet rock stuff. It's pet rock stuff. I think it is, unless you can absolutely wipe out the market for other things, which I would not be surprised if that's like if there's a hard push for it. I would not be surprised at all, and I think there probably already is. Beyond Meat that was pet rock stuff. It's not going fucking anywhere.
Well, I agree, but it made it pierced the market. I mean, it made a splash. It made an impact. And I think, you know, again, showing our age here, like those of us that were born in the 70s, maybe even the 80s, like we're always going to have a taste for real meat. But if you were born in the year 2002, which by the way, you're 20 right now, maybe you've never even had real meat in your palate and you wouldn't even know what it tasted like. And so this lab grown stuff is just going to be, it's just another fucking walk in the park. It's another day. And you're not going to even know the difference. And that's what scares me is like, they're just waiting for the rest of us who give a shit to die off. And then they'll just have a chokehold on everybody.
Well, I'll tell you this: they're gonna have to fight my oldest because he's ordering his own. He's Uber eating randomly. Well, I don't even know. He's Uber eating in McDonald's, so he's meeting Boston drivers out on the corner. Hey, thanks for my burgers, and that's how he's handling things at like 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, so he's gonna have to fight them off tooth and nail. Would you guys leave Apple or Android if either one decided to kick Twitter off of their platforms?
Hefe, yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it because of Twitter. I mean, we've touched on this before. I don't fucking care about Twitter, but I might do it just because. I mean, why not?
So you're a willing free agent. Give me something for my money that's worth it that I might.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I find Twitter valuable. And I absolutely love what Elon is doing right now. I know there's a lot of stink and a lot of people want to make a big deal out of the people that he fired. I saw a clip of him. I think he was on the Matt Walsh show on his podcast, but Elon's like, yeah, it's actually a funny story. He said I was walking through Twitter headquarters and I saw some people just sitting around, and so I went over and asked them, like, what do you do here? And they couldn't answer me. So I was like, okay, you're fired. Like they couldn't actually justify their own jobs, so you're fucking out of here. And I mean, so he's cleaning house. And by the way, Twitter's still up and running. I mean, he fired 75% of the workforce, and nothing has changed with Twitter. So
you beat me to the stat. Damn it, good job.
Yeah, no, I mean, so that just tells you something right there. He's just cutting the fat. But I'm with Hefe. I would not change platforms just because of Twitter. I would change platforms because I think something engineered by and backed by Elon would probably be very logical, be very user friendly, and I would give it a try. I don't hate my iPhone, but I would absolutely welcome something new in my life for sure.
I hate mine.
You definitely do.
Yes, you do.
Definitely do. So we posed a question: if Apple and Google kick Twitter out of their app stores, would you ditch the Android or iPhone for a phone built by Elon Musk, by an Elon Musk-driven company, since it would have Twitter and possibly more transparency? Interesting feedback. I wasn't totally surprised by this because I do think the notion it's a very hefty concern. I mean, we're talking about, I'm forking over $1,000 a phone right now for a fucking iPhone. You got to beat that for me to switch, right? So yes was 32.8%. This was 58 votes. So we got a lot of voting on this one. 67.2% was no. Here's my thing. And I took a little bit of a bias in there because Apple, for me, since Tim Cook has taken over, their ability to innovate has gone down significantly.
Oh yeah. Agreed.
I don't think it's not a good piece of tech anymore. It doesn't do anything different than anybody else, and you're just paying for the name. And I'm to the point where if I could wean the rest of my family off and move platforms, because I'm an Apple household, I've got Apple TVs, I've got HomeKit, I've got everything is interwoven. I mean, it is a part of life. Which, congratulations to Apple, you got me. But for this, I actually, if they were going to go ahead and take a hard swing at Twitter, because again, if they were going to, the only thing they're doing is it's a narrative push. That's a far left wing narrative.
Yep.
That is all that it is. Because they have done nothing different at all. In fact, the only thing that they've actually done is made things more fair. So I may think about it if I'm in a position where, if I have an expiring contract coming up, I may go ahead and switch, especially if he Tony Starks this shit and makes something that's actually really innovative.
Exactly. It's new. It's fun. It's innovative. The battery actually lasts you for 5 years instead of going to shit after a year. The tech actually works every time you open up the fucking phone. All the apps that I have now are available. I mean, if he figures out a way to save all my stuff, like all my pictures, all my data, and just mount it onto this new, because that would be the one thing that would kill me, is to lose all my pics,
Right.
all my memories, all my videos, all that stuff.
Back your shit up.
Yeah, exactly. But after that, like, it's time for something new. I mean, Windows Phone, they tried, but it just never really took off. I know there's still a few Windows Phones users out there, and I was a diehard for a while. I really love my Windows Phone. But
It was a cool little phone.
it was really cool, but it just couldn't do what the iPhone could do, or what even what an Android could do. But if Elon can create something that rivals that, I'm in.
Hefe, you still there? I think we lost him.
We lost him. Yeah.
Yeah, we lost him. All right.
Yeah,
So I really enjoyed 69 Whiskey's comments. I think unlinking Truth Social and Parler, Twitter has a user base that far exceeds what either platform has or had. It would piss more people off than anything. Now, buying a new phone built by Elon just to have Twitter is a bit fucking lame in my opinion. Consider how many people worship him.
Yeah.
So I can totally appreciate. We got some other comments that went fucking off-roading, and I don't know why they wanted to go into like January 6th and trying to make this a political
why
debate.
did that
wasn't the
enter?
point. I like what he said too. 69 Whiskey, Whiskey Pod. Go listen to their show.
Oh yeah, definitely
Fucking,
spot on.
it's a smart show, fun show. Just these dudes really get it. So I totally suggest 69 Whiskey. But I like that though. I mean, it would be a bit lame to just go ahead and leave just because Twitter got kicked. But what I keep coming down to is every one of these decisions, 278 million eyes. Is Apple really going to screw with that? Is Google going to go, yeah, that's nothing. I don't need them.
No,
the fuck you are.
No, they're not. You're exactly right. No, they're not.
That's why it's a fantastic investment. And like you were saying, and I love that you beat me to the stat, 75% of Twitter's been fired. You had no job.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry you got fired. That's the real world. If you aren't going to produce something valuable, maybe you need to get a different job. Maybe you're really a great barista. Maybe you're really good at walking dogs. I don't know, but it's not, a content creator for whatever the fuck you were trying to accomplish on Twitter. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
or
just done with the
fucking
whining.
Yeah, or just playing fucking ping pong. Have you seen the viral video, or the video that's gone viral? This kid got fired from Twitter, and he hadn't been there for long. It wasn't like he was a Twitter lifer. He had been there for like 6 months or something. But Elon apparently walked through and saw him doing nothing and fired him. So he went and he claimed he had to go get a job at McDonald's. Well, at the end of his first day, the manager was like, "Hey, you need to do all the dishes. You need to, wash all the frying pans, And he looked at he shows it on his video. I saw it on TikTok. He shows the array of dishes and shit that has to be cleaned, and he's like, "Nope, I don't do dishes. I'm out." And he quit. He just walked out. First day. Fuck you.
I didn't realize that he was an ex-Twitter employee.
Yeah. Yep. So you saw that one?
I saw him, and he's all making a big joke of it. Haha, I'm out, and then the manager's behind him like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. No, he was an ex-Twitter employee.
You know what?
And,
there's a lot of fuck around and find out having to happen.
Sure.
If you want to work hard, you're going to get a job. You're going to have a good career. That's how it works. Look at Hefe. Okay, he's
Yeah.
busting his ass every goddamn day.
Yep.
You're hustling, I'm hustling. People make it, but
Yep.
at the end of the day, you're not entitled to anything.
Nope. No. Hey, and you know what? Second cheers of the show. A big shout out to Hefe. I know we've done this before, but we're due. To the hardest working dude that I think I know. I mean, he's got what, 18 kids or something. I don't know. He always corrects me on that. Maybe it's only 17, but he's got a lot of kids. He's got a difficult, I'll just say difficult, family situation going on with the other side of the family. But he's out there doing it. He's got 2 fucking jobs, and we're not talking 2 20-hour-a-week jobs. We're talking a 40-hour and a 30-hour week job, which probably turns into another 40-hour week job. So 80 hours a week, this dude's working his ass off, and still makes time for this stupid show, and we love it. He just breaks up the show perfectly for us. So my second cheers is going to Hefe. I told you both on Thanksgiving that I'm thankful for both you guys, but I really am. I'm thankful for both of you, and Hefe, thanks for going out there and setting a good example. Cheers.
Yeah. Oh, I'm right there. I'm right there with you. That's a perfect cheers. Thank you, Hefe. Dude's a fucking beast. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, I don't either. Well, you know how he does it. He's a fucking insomniac. I mean, ever since I've known him.
He doesn't. He doesn't do speed.
No.
He doesn't do any kind of cocaine. He does no illicit drugs. He is so much more in a straight and narrow than you and I are.
Yeah, no, I can vouch for that. I would wake up we probably 5 nights out of the week, one of us was sleeping at the other one's house. That's just how we grew up.
Platonically.
Of course. 100%. Most of the time. But no, I would wake up at 2:30 in the morning to go take a piss, and he would just be up. He'd be up playing Nintendo, or he'd be up watching ESPN, or he would just be awake. And I was like, "Oh, dude, did you sleep?" He's like, "No, not yet." So I'd go take a piss, I'd go back to sleep. Then I'd wake up at 7:00 in the morning, and he'd be up already. I'd be like, "Have you been up all night?" No, I slept a couple hours. He's just always been like that. He just has a motor that just keeps running, and but it's serving him well right now because he's working, 90 hours a week or whatever it is. So good on you, Hefe. Good shit.
You know who else is going to be working 90 hours a week?
More than that, dude.
San Francisco Police Department submitted a proposal that would give robots the ability to use deadly force in dangerous situations. We pose this question to listeners again, and
yeah, this one shocked me. I'm shocked. Maybe it was the way the question was worded. I don't know. Maybe they didn't read it all the way.
Let's read the question. Let me try.
Okay.
In the case of San Francisco, should robots be able to use deadly force? Last tweet was from the Verge article. So I posted the article, led off with the the poll, and this is where we led to. And maybe none of our listeners are from San Francisco, and they're totally fine with violent robots being able to kill people in San Francisco. I don't know. I definitely like what I had to say it said.
Yeah.
But the poll ended up being yeah. So the poll was yeah. RoboCop was cool, 48.3%. Nope. Wally with a gun, and there was a question mark. So 51.7%. So we still aired on the side of nope, but out of 29 people that voted,
yeah, not by much.
Wasn't a lot of people were okay with robots having guns.
Yeah, that shocked me. I would have looked for more of a 70-30 or even 80-20 for people being like, no, I don't want robots to have a fucking gun. Not only just have a gun, but also have the permission, the legal permission, the legal wherewithal to go ahead and shoot me and kill me. And they're protected under the law. Did we not see Terminator? Have we not seen The Matrix? Are we? What is happening here? Are people just complacent this way?
I think there's a lot of complacency. I'm not saying that amongst our listeners necessarily, but I think when you think of robots, I still think that there's you connect Johnny 5, R2D2, C3PO.
You mean the fun, harmless, comedic robots?
I mean, well, you don't connect something violent and with the ability to spill blood. I don't think we do that yet. But when we look at the Verge article, please, for the love of God, read it. The weapon that's on this thing, it's a machine gun mounted to the same type of Talon robot owned by the San Francisco. Okay, so this is actually a machine gun mounted on a robot, which is close to what would be used by the bomb disposal crew or not department.
I mean, that thing
team,
looks like
whatever.
I'm not gonna venture a guess here because I'm no gun pro, but I'm gonna say that's probably shooting either 5.56. Yeah, it's probably shooting 5.56 fucking green tips.
So
50 cal?
while most of the robots listed in San Francisco PD's inventory are primarily used for defusing bombs or dealing with hazardous materials, newer Remotech models have an optional weapon system, and the department's existing F5A has a tool called the Pan Disruptor that can load a 12-gauge shotgun shells. Okay, it's typically used to detonate bombs from a distance. The department's Talon
Connect
also,
IQ, I think. Yeah.
Connect. Okay, they're getting cute with their terminology. I'm sure there's
whatever. Yeah.
Well, there's a trademark involved.
Right.
Talon can also be modified to hold various weapons. A weaponized version of the robot is currently used by the U.S. Army and can equip grenade launchers, machine guns, or even a 50 caliber anti-material rifle.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So here's the thing. I mean, you're I know how you're going to justify this, San Francisco PD, is you're going to say that this robot is going to save police lives, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
which I'm not. There's no problem with making steps that saves police lives.
Agreed.
But...
Agreed. So you send this little robot into a particularly volatile situation where, lives are in danger, and by throwing up a live police officer in there, you're just adding another life to this scenario. I get it, but McShane, half the fucking time my phone can't do autocorrect right. It doesn't know what I'm trying to say. So you're telling me this robot's going to go in and with zero fallibility, no mistakes ever, it's going to only kill the bad guy.
Are you telling me you don't trust Siri?
With a shotgun, exactly what I'm telling you. We do not have the computing, the programming power at this point, expertise to make sure that there is a 100% failsafe.
And there's discernment. There's discernment involved.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Now, here's the catch. And the one thing that they're not saying here is whether it's a drone. Okay. So Are you justifying the use of this, quote, if you're going to say that this is a tool being controlled by somebody else, by a cop, we'll say. Well, it'll be a cop, a drone unit, right? Just like we use drone units out of Las Vegas and out of Nevada and other places around the world.
Kansas, yep.
Yeah, a drone farm, whatever. And that's what's actually taking place. So there's somebody at least has the discernment to handle things appropriately. Then you get me a little bit closer to being okay with it. But if you're just going to send a robot in there with a yes and no, as long as it checks the boxes and it can kill somebody, no, I'm not okay with this.
That's the thing here, right? I mean, the article says they're going to give the robot permission, license to kill the robot.
That's the way the Verge article comes off. Absolutely.
Okay, so I mean, you're right. They don't specify, but that's the assumption we kind of have to make, because that's a definite divergence from somebody sitting in a cockpit in Nevada and dropping a bomb on a wedding party in Iraq, which, by the way, never happened, or maybe it did happen 2 or 3 times, whatever. That's an actual person pushing the button. But if you just send this thing in, totally on AI technology, and it has to discern who's the bad guy, who's the hostage, who's the little girl hiding in the corner, and is that bullet gonna ricochet anywhere and hurt an innocent? There's no fucking way I'm putting my life on the line for that. I would not, for every cent I have in the bank, I would not pay for that robot to be on the streets in my city. No way.
So remember back probably 4 or 5 episodes when we talked about Boston Dynamics signing a pledge that they were not going to allow their robots to be weaponized.
Right.
Oakland also said that they were not going to allow armed remote vehicles to the department. But San Francisco's totally down so far.
Yeah, and for those of you who have never been to the Bay Area, that's about a 10-minute BART ride from Oakland across the bay to San Francisco. I mean, it's all the Bay Area.
That just makes me think that it's going to be a homeless meat grinder. And I hate saying that, but Jesus.
No, I mean, I kind of sent you guys some texts when I was there in San Francisco, taking the BART. The BART itself is clean as hell. I mean,
the BART's fine. I'm talking about the streets around San Francisco.
No, that's what I'm saying too. Yeah, but you get off the BART at any of the BART stations and you get out into the street, and you're right. It's going to be a meatless home grinder, a homeless meat grinder. Wow, that was weird.
I've been really impressed by Chicago. Granted, it's nearing winter. It's fall. It's cold. So,
yeah.
But there's not been a great homeless problem from what I've been able to see here. It's been...
I was there in the late summer, and so, but I didn't see any there either. I think they've done a pretty good job, kind of like New York has, just kind of cleaning up those areas. Hey, well, I was going to say, is it time for a word from our sponsors? Because
that's a good call. We got sponsors and we got cool shit to talk about, right?
Yep. And I also have to go pee-pee.
Okay. You go pee-pee, and we'll come back and do some cool shit.
All right. Awesome.
All right. So wanted to go and get into some cool shit for the end here. And again, shout out before we kind of move on from that. Shout out to everybody who's chimed in on all of our polls. We want your feedback. We want to know what your thoughts are. We don't want you to feel like you can't give your feedback. Keep it on point. That's what we really want. Yeah. We're not, while we talk a lot of politics, we're not interested in really political grandstanding. That's one of the things that really kind of throws us not off. It doesn't throw us off, but it really shuts us down because we're not interested too much in getting into, the left is better than the right, the right's better than the left. That's not why we do this. It's not the point.
If you haven't figured it out by now, we're both moderates.
Yeah, we can't stand either,
right.
To be honest. But Happy Hour Pod, thank you for chiming in. You say RoboCop, but what you mean is Terminator. I love that comment. That was hilarious.
Yes, good call.
Casamigo Chris, RoboCop was cool, but knowing America, they'd make ED 209, and they lost control of the fucker, and no. So he's not down with it. So please keep giving us feedback. We want to know your thoughts on these things. Not only do we use in the show, obviously, and we love, your guys' shows, and we want to make sure that you guys are getting props for it. But it also kind of gives us a good weather benchmark. I was going to say a benchmark of kind of what the pulse is and what you want to talk about and what you don't want to talk about and things like that. So, so keep bringing us the feedback. We truly want it.
Yeah.
So let's go.
Probably, well, I was just going to say, it's probably the best part of this whole experience. I think, McShane and I, and Hefe, we have a conversation during this podcast. We dialogue. But, the fourth wall of all of that is all of you. And that's the missing piece we don't get during the show, because we don't have guests on. That's kind of our MO, is we haven't had, and we probably won't have any guests on the show just because we're selfish and we like our time together. But on Twitter, when we have those polls and, just the listener feedback I've been getting from texts from listeners, that's our fourth wall. That helps us determine whether or not we're hitting the mark or if we're off the mark. So keep them coming. You guys are just as much a part of this show as we are. So please, let us know how we're doing and if what we're talking about makes sense or if it's completely irrelevant.
Yeah, and if you don't give a shit, let us know. Seriously.
Yeah, right.
This is stupid.
Yep.
Thanks for playing. Let's move on.
Right.
All right. So our cool shit. Let's go back to places and things.
Yeah.
I saw some amazing stuff this week that I want to talk about. You saw some amazing stuff that you want to talk about. So let's go on your journey first, because I did not expect to hear about a kung fu theater or laundry.
Yeah. So one of my kung fu brothers, and again, I'm gonna change all names just to protect anonymity here. One of my kung fu brothers, we'll just call him Big E. So there's like a tight group of four of us. One of the four of us was not there this weekend because it is his birthday this weekend and he's in Vegas. So happy birthday to Big John. And you know who you are. Happy birthday, dude. And I hope you're having fun in Vegas. But he did not, because of that, he wasn't able to make it to San Francisco this weekend for our Kung Fu meetup. But Big E says to the other two of us, MJ and myself, hey, I need to take you guys to this bar. It's the only Kung Fu bar in this city. And we're here for a Kung Fu weekend, so we're going to go to this Kung Fu bar. And it's called Young's Kung Fu Action Theater and Laundry. And it is in downtown San Francisco. And I mean downtown. Like you mentioned the symphony earlier. It's downtown by where all the symphony and orchestra buildings are, the government buildings. It's literally down this dark little alley in between two government buildings. And that's where you find this little hole in the wall that they call a bar. And it's just fucking awesome. And McShane will put the link to their website on, and the website is exactly what you would expect. It's
so bad.
It's awful. It's terrible. And
it's so bad.
So you walk into the bar. There's a bouncer at the door checking your IDs, just like old days. But you walk in, and on the floor and all the walls are covered with these Kung Fu movie posters. And they're like laminated, so they're safe from you stepping on them or whatever.
It looks fucking rad. Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. So and I mean like all the really bad ones, all the really bad Kung Fu movies that, had cult followings, but were just terrible. And then along one wall is old movie theater seats. So you actually can sit down on these old Kung Fu theater movie seats along one wall, but then there's a really cool bar with some cool seating there. And then there's like a dance floor in the back and then an extra seating floor area in the back. And I will tell you that true to their name, Young's Kung Fu Action Theater and Laundry, on your way back to the bathrooms, there is a working laundromat.
That's fucking amazing.
There are 2 washing machines and 2 drying machines, so you can come there and get wasted while you're doing your laundry. And so then there's 2 big movie screens up above that are showing Kung Fu flicks, old Kung Fu flicks. And the best part about it, they're great. I mean, they're showing some of the classics, like just some really bad stuff. So bad it's good. But then what they've done is they added the closed caption, and it's not has nothing to do with the movie, but it's just funny stuff. So for instance,
So
there's
it's
these
all
two
dubbed ridiculous. It's dubbed comedy bits.
Yes. So there's these two guys fighting on a rooftop, and the guy punches the one guy, and he's like, "How's your sister Susan?" And bam, and he hits him. He's like, "She's fine, but I still hate her husband." And boom, he hits him back, and they're like, "How's your stepmom?" "Oh, I killed her last week." And they're just going through this ridiculous dialogue, and then finally the one kung fu guy throws the other guy off the roof, and you can totally tell it's just like a stuffed dummy as it floats through the air. But as the guy's falling, he's like, "Tell your mom thanks for last night." And then boom, he hits the car. And so they're telling these really bad jokes and just super bad dialogue. But the whole time, it's a kung fu fight, and it just couldn't have been more perfect for the three of us who were there for an actual kung fu weekend to actually study martial arts. But then we see this ridiculousness. And then one of the cool parts, they have this big, giant dragon head up in the corner. And every once in a while, it's mechanical. So like the antenna move, the mouth opens. Every once in a while, the mouth opens and it blows all these fucking bubbles out. Instead of fire, it blows bubbles.
It just blows bubbles. That's fucking fantastic.
So the whole bar is covered in bubbles. And what was cool was the crowd that was in there was, I mean, we were probably three of the older guys in there. It was a really young, really hip crowd. A bunch of black dudes in there with just chilling out on the movie theater seats, just talking kung fu, I guess. In fact, we were standing there because we just came straight from our practice, so we had our kung fu shirts on. So this one dude comes kind of sidling up, like kind of a pimp walk, and he's like, "You cats do kung fu?" and Big E was like, "Yeah, we're here for a kung fu weekend." He's like, "Cool, man." And he kind of, gave us the brother shake and gave us a little mini hug, and then he went off and took a piss. But anyway,
as he should. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So you had that crowd in there. Then you had some dudes, and I want to give props. This one guy, he was clearly on a first date with this girl, for sure, first date, and he brought her there, and she had this look on her face of just bewilderment, of just like, wow, a place like this.
Why am I here?
No. Like a place like this exists. This is so cool. I mean, he fucking scored that night. I know he did. He won major brownie points with her because what a cool little spot to take a first date. And then there was just some younger girls there, just flirting their asses off and getting guys to buy them drinks. And there's a little photo booth there. There's a little dance floor. Some people were grooving on the dance floor. And then our buddy MJ had a fun encounter with just somebody. We walked in and she just jumped on him, and that all worked out great. So it was just the whole thing. We were probably only there for an hour and a half, maybe an hour 45 minutes. And just a great experience. Oh, last part I want to say about it. There's something called the shot choo-choo. And so if you buy, it's $6. You pay for the shot choo-choo. I bought the first round, so I bought a shot choo-choo for me and Big E and MJ. And so they push the button, and literally this little train up on this rack above the bar goes choo-choo, and it goes back and forth, and it randomly chooses you a shot.
That's
so
rad.
Some people lucked out. Like I got a shot of Johnny Walker. Great. Big E got a shot of Maker's Mark. Awesome.
Oh, okay. All right.
MJ got a shot of Rumpelmans. Now, that would have been bad news for MJ, but he was in the middle of something. He was predisposed. So, that shot got left, and I left it on the bar because I wasn't gonna fucking take the Rumpelmans. No way. I'm done with that. I can't. Big E couldn't. So we did our shots. We got a beer, and we went and posted up at a table. And so that shot of Rumpelmans, but I will tell you, someone drank it because that glass was empty the last time I saw it. But anyway, just a really cool. I honestly don't believe that bar could exist in any other city on the planet. I mean,
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Nobody would even know what to do with it in any other city but San Francisco. But it was fucking hopping the whole night. It was busy. They were making hand over fist. The bartenders were awesome. So anyway, if you get to San Francisco, check out Young's Kung Fu action theater, and laundry. Bring your laundry if you need to wash some clothes. Bring some quarters because it is a quarter machine, and just hang out. It was a really cool vibe,
God.
really cool crowd, and I can't wait to go back. I really can't. It was just really cool.
I would need to go back. I need to go there now.
Yeah,
because the website is so 1985. Like it is the start of HTML.
Exactly.
Okay, I built websites better than this, and I suck at it. And
Yeah.
it is so cheesy, and they've absolutely mastered. It's like it's like Mystery Science Theater 3000 met
Yes.
Kung Fu.
Yes.
Right?
It's exactly what it is. Yes.
And every Chinese gangster movie, backroom dealings, that's exactly what it looks like. I'm like, okay. It's so cheesy, there's no weird shit happening there, but there should be. That's what I'm getting just from the pictures on the website, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, 100%. And if you do go there and check it out, look for the Whiskey Hell stickers in the bathrooms because I planted them in both
Did you
bathrooms.
slap some on there? Good
I did.
man.
I did.
Good
Yep.
man.
So
All
anyway,
right.
great experience. So yeah, what did you have going on?
Oh, so I had a few things going on. So one of the things that we both like to do when we're traveling is to make sure that we're hitting some local joints. So if we go to a place that doesn't have a lot of local stuff, it's a buzzkill.
Yeah.
So if you go to Boston, there's two things that I highly suggest doing. One, go to the old bars. The first one that I truly love is the Bell in Hand. This was actually built in 1795. It's the oldest bar in America. Yeah. And it's the old wood. I mean, what's off-putting about it? Honestly, go there during the day to experience what it would be like to have a pint during the day, the sun shining, and just kind of imagine, how it would have been to be back in the day, right? Back in the 1700s.
Yeah.
Because the buzzkill for me when we were there, because we were there after hours, which I think it was like around 10, 11 o'clock, something like that. But they had rap music playing and they had some rave shit going, and I'm like, I don't think the founding fathers really actually thought this through, that this is what's going to happen. But my wife, she had she told me, no, your founding fathers would not have cared, because everybody's partying and having a good time and drinking and doing what they want to do. All right,
that's a good point. That's a legit point.
I stood corrected there, and that's cool. So that's the first thing that I would do. The second thing that I would do is, if you ever get to Boston, go into North End. If you like Italian. So we did a couple of things, which we hit some restaurants that were totally local. There was absolutely no franchising. We're talking, these things could host 20, 30, 40 people at a time.
Wow.
A little pricey, but you're getting, the quality was like handmade. Nothing's being warmed up in a microwave. This is actually, old world ingredients. There was TLC made, right?
Yeah.
So we went to the first place we went to was Isabel's, which Isabel's was very, very good. But then we went to another place after that, which was called Benevento's Boston. And I'm just going to show you the gallery here. I'm hoping that they've got, all right, pizzas.
I love brick oven stuff. God damn.
It's brick oven. Now, next to this place is a tattoo and barber shop.
Don't you love big cities for that?
Oh, no. Dude.
There's limited space, so they're just going to combine whatever they want.
Well, and it's Boston, so
yeah,
it's they put virtually no space, if any, between buildings. It's a wall, right. Another wall. It was like you're basically, it's a gigantic building, and this little section's going to be an Italian place. This other section's going to be a little Italian place. This next little section's going to be a tea house. The next little section is going to be a pastry, a baker. Anyway, it was fucking fantastic. And Fitz, you know I like to cook. You like to cook.
Yeah.
It has been so long since I was inspired to cook, and I wanted to fucking cook after eating at this place. I had a angel hair pasta with pancetta. And I've never played with pancetta before, but it was pancetta with a little bit of cream and a little bit of red sauce, not too much. The pancetta was the feature of it, and it was salty, and it was goddamn magical. I'm telling you,
that sounds
this
great.
place was fucking killer. Now here's the next killer. I'm gonna Google this real quick. I hope they have a site. Bova Bakery.
Oh shit! Yeah, you know what's funny? So after you tell this story, I gotta tell you a story about a Chinese bakery in San Fran.
Bova Bakery. Okay, we get out of Isabel's on the first day, and I'm like, I'm kind of having a little bit of an anxiety attack. A little bit. I need tonight to be. There needs to be something special, right? It was a long day. It was our travel day. We all just got into Boston. I met my family here along with my oldest and stuff. And it was just like, it was a rough day, and I needed something special to happen. Fitz, this was a 24/7 bakery.
Oh shit!
It was wall to wall pastries and homemade breads.
Well, that'll
And
calm
it
me right the
was-
fuck down.
It was fucking badass. We walked out of there. I mean, we played it close to the vest. 4 chocolate-covered strawberries, a piece of tiramisu, a block of what amounted to a bar that was a Reese's bar. I mean, peanut butter and chocolate. That's all it was. And a gigantic piece of Italian bread. Okay. And it was like $25. And this was at 9:00 at night. This is a bakery. It's 24/7. And you know what my oldest took away from it all?
What's that?
Dad, we're the only guys in here. And I looked around. I'm like, you're right, we are. He's like, I am so outnumbered. There's all women here. And I'm just like, I didn't notice that until you said that. How does that make you feel? I kind of like it.
See, only a McShane would realize that A,
yeah.
and then B, like revel in it.
That's what he did, and that was like,
Yeah.
fucking rad. What was what happened at your bakery?
Okay, first of all, you mentioned the music. I forgot to mention the music at Young's Kung Fu Action Theater and Laundry. It was all just super high energy hip hop. In fact, I Shazammed probably every other song that was there because I'm always looking for high energy stuff for my workouts. In fact, the song that we listened to pregame for the show tonight was one of the ones that it was a great song. But they were all like that, just super, just amazing hip hop, and I couldn't believe how many of them I had not heard before, and like rap groups and hip hop bands that I haven't heard before. So that was awesome. But so there's this bakery that is a favorite of John's and mine when we're in San Fran, and we decided to pick up some Don Tots. And if you've never had Don Tots, they are these egg custard little pies that are a Chinese, favorite. And all of my Kung Fu brothers, obviously, we love them. So before we were kind of out about on the town on Friday. So before we're going to go meet up with everybody Friday afternoon, we decided to go by, it's called Eastern Bakery. And they make the best Don Tots in Chinatown, probably in the whole city. Amazing Don Tots. And there's always, so this was a Friday afternoon, so the line was longer than usual, but you can go in there on a Monday morning and there will be a line out the door.
That's awesome.
It's the favorite. So we bought 24 Don Tots, for something like $20. I mean, they're so cheap and so delicious, and brought them for all of our Kung Fu brothers to just kind of chow down on before we really got going on Friday. And they're just always a crowd favorite. So if you ever get down to Chinatown, it's on Grant Avenue, so which is kind of one of the main thoroughfares for Chinatown if you've been down there. But go to Eastern Bakery, ask for a dozen Don Tots, or if you're feeding a bunch of people, get a couple dozen. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. Everybody loves Don Tots. So I just wanted to mention that. Quick shout out to Eastern Bakery because they're so fucking amazing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I think really what we're taking away is get out and enjoy things. Get out and do stuff. Try new things. Try new beers. Go to new cities if you can. If you can't go to new cities, get out in the city that you're in and try something new, something you have never done before. Have some fun. The worst thing that we can do at this point in our lives with all the shit that's going on is to shut ourselves down. Yep. Shut ourselves in and just close our eyes, because there's so much to learn, experience, enjoy, and just have fun with.
Amen.
It just, it's good stuff. We only got to, we only got to probably 75% of the dock.
Yeah, if that. I mean, Jesus, there's still more we could have talked about for sure. And some of this I do think we need to talk about the Mercedes bit next week, because that's worth talking about, because it's a continuing trend that's concerning. More control on all of this. So I think we'll get to that next week. And I do think we need to discuss, if it does come to fruition, the fact that Zuckerberg might be stepping down from Meta. That could be a big deal. It might be nothing, but it could be a big deal. So some stuff we can get to next week. But I thought this week's show was amazing. I was very happy with my beers. Which beer are you taking to bed tonight?
So I'm definitely taking the KBS to bed,
okay.
just because it's 8 years old.
Right.
I mean,
whoa, hold on. That sounds bad. Yeah. That sounds bad. You're not taking an 8-year-old to bed.
Well, it's way better than one that was just brewed yesterday.
I guess that's right.
Did I play that off okay?
That was great. Well played.
All right. I'm going with the KBS, but I'll tell you this, though, too. So I did enjoy the Imperial Stout, Spelled in Bones, a great deal. As far as a spiced beer or a spiced stout, I did like that a lot. I actually went to a third beer, and I'm going for it tonight. I got them to kill. They need to be killed. So I'm drinking actually a smoked brown ale.
Ooh, how's that?
It's really, really good. This is Austin Street Smoked Brown Ale, 5.7, so it's an easy drinker. Do you remember last week when I had the smoke beer?
Yes.
This beats that one.
Wow.
This is what I expected from a smoked beer. And this is a smoked brown, which
right,
it still has.
That one last week didn't have enough smoke for you.
It did not have enough smoke for me. But here's the kicker for this one, though. It's a brown ale, so it's dirty, but it has a little bit of smoke to it, and I really enjoy the uniqueness of it. So I'm going to say I'm going 3 for 3. KBS gets the nod. Kathleen, I love you.
Well done, Kathleen. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat with you. I got to take my my older, more aged beer. I'm going with the Bourbon County tonight.
Yep.
Just because it's so complex and continues to morph the longer you keep it bottled, and it was all of that. It was very complex, very just a low key. I mean, for a 14.5%, it really didn't hit that hard because I think it just mellowed out so much in the bottle. And like I said earlier, those earth tones just really mellowed me out. It was just this would be a good beer to smoke pot with, I think. Not that I'm a pot smoker, but the combination of those two things would just really kind of mellow you out. But
nice,
definite honorable mention for the Two Town Cider House, Crisp and Crumble. Really great cider. Very impressed by all the flavors they packed into that very crisp and clean cider. And then my side bitch tonight, my third beer that I just kind of always have on the side just in case for emergencies, pull in case of emergencies. Dude, I that just hit me. What an amazing tattoo that would be to have on a penis, on my penis specifically. Pull in case of emergencies. Anyway, I have the Jubile Ale by Deschutes, which is another Oregon brewery up here, and Jubile Ale is probably my favorite kind of winter beer that comes out up here. It's really malty, really kind of has a nutty flavor to it. Very easy drinker, but it's a 6.5, so it'll get the job done too. But anyway, that was my side bitch. And I'm gonna seriously, as we sign off here, I'm gonna seriously contemplate my next tattoo because I'm gonna run that by my wife. I think she'd like that.
Well, at minimum, you just named the show "Pull in Case of Emergencies." That's
excellent.
All right,
Oh,
get out there, do new stuff, have fun, try craft beer. Don't be afraid. Just get out there and just have fun. Be you.
Yep.
That's at the end of the day. That's what's most important. So, follow us at whiskey_hell on Twitter. whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com is going to be the Gmail address. whiskeyhellpod.com is actually the website. We appreciate you guys listening, all the feedback, checking in on polls, just keeping us going. You guys really make the show. You guys are awesome. We love you.
Amen. Yep.
Shout out to our new friends to the family, Techaway Tavern and Kathleen. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart, and other things.
And Young's Kung Fu Action Theater and Laundry. You guys were fucking rad. You're definitely a friend of the show. I hope you don't take my stickers down because more people need to know about this show.
And you're just going to come back anyway and put more up.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be there in another couple months.
I'm Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz.
We'll talk to you soon.
That will do it for this week's show. Shocking how long they last each week. Remember to leave a review, and thanks for listening.